Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Kill Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. Rather, I'm just talking about the movies, theme parks, merchandising, TV shows, whatever the case, maybe documentaries, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, here am I complaining about something stupid as usual. Because, yeah, there's this article, why the original Disney princesses need to be changed. Yeah, we see where this is going. I have these types of arguments before, but there's the whole thing with Kim Jong Un, and yeah, we're not gonna focus on that instead. So okay, of course, this article is referring to films like maybe like Cinderella, the original one, of course, which I really liked, or even let's say, oh yes, the original Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't bring her up because she was originally considered as a princess. I mean, not anymore, but still. Or even movies like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And I'm not gonna bring every single one of these up, but you get the gist here. Of course, this was goes on the belief that Walt Disney that what was apparently sexist, which he wasn't. Even though he hired women to work on his animated features like Bambi or even again Snow White or any other shorts or whatever else I guess you would say. Because Walt Disney had made a lot of shorts back then. I mean, to this day, they still kind of do, I guess. But back then, he used to crank them out like those no tomorrow. And yes, women will help that out. But okay, let's completely ignore that, shall we? Apparently, because you don't want to do your research here. But okay. Anyway, yeah, when it comes to religious people, I'm not the one to actually be so kind with it for them. Or is the word to them? And you know what I mean. Whatever. Especially the really well known individuals when it comes to religion. And it's usually due to the fact that a lot of these really well known pastors and whatnot, whether from the mega churches or at least somewhat well known enough, they tend to talk a lot of shit about the LGBT plus community. And I mean, that's not what this video is going to be focusing mostly about, really. That I'm just let I figure to explain myself really for a brief moment there. It just seems a lot odd that a lot of people seem to have that mindset that, well, I'm in the right, I'm going to be in the right, but don't provide any evidence whatsoever to back up your claims and whatnot. Yeah, the religious individuals had colonized Africa for the same reason, and I'm thinking, yes, this can be very dangerous kind of thinking. And yes, you should be checked out, obviously. But again, that's not the main topic in this video is not really about racism or bigotry towards the LGBT community. Just again, a lot of people seem to believe that oh, they're in the right and don't bother asking questions. And ultimately, when you think about what you do in your life, the kind of decision you make, yes, can have consequences. So be careful what you do in life. And yes, if you do the right thing, it can be rewarding, obviously, in more ways than one. So be careful what you do. This dumbass article doesn't seem to realize that, well, whoever wrote this anyway, that just because these movies were made in a certain period of time, it doesn't automatically make these films sexist. Yes, things were different back then. Yes, women were had a much harder time, and but yeah, but that was so long ago. As for the timing of this video, the 1950s was 72 years ago. That's almost a century. Yeah, so yes, it's not the 1950s anymore. And yes, at the time, yes, it was against the law to have women in high paid positions in just in a job. Yes, making movies is a job. This includes animation. Yeah, I know. No shit. But he hired women to be in these positions anyway. So I guess technically in some ways he was breaking the law. But he did anyway. I guess he was going against the moral code at the time and hired women anyway. So how is it that a lot of people give George Lucas credit for changing cinema with sci-fi by having a strong female lead? Which, yes, in a lot of ways he did, and that's perfectly fine. But then turn around and criticize Walt Disney for supposedly being sexist. Did you realize he did hire women, right? He never talked down to them or anything. He never mistreated them. It's not like he did anything bad toward them in any shape or form. While yes, unfortunately, sexism is still a thing in this day and age, even in 2022. Unfortunately, yeah, but that doesn't mean somebody was like that back then either. Like this article is trying to suggest that these old movies are just damaging just because of the fact that they're old movies. You need more evidence than that. And yes, of course, this trying to claim that these princesses weren't always progressive. You've got to be kidding me. Just because something is old isn't necessarily sexist, and just because something is new isn't always progressive. So it's not so black and white as this individual who wrote this article is trying to make a claim. And the original Disney princesses, they're fine. I don't mind. Of course, fine the way they are. And yes, obviously, the article is going to try to make a mention towards the fact that, yes, make a reference to the body images. Yeah, the physical appearance, of course. So, of course, they're going to mention the whole idea of the unrealistic body image. Just, oh boy. Yeah, this has to be one of the most brain dead ideas right here. I have some sort of counter argument or whatever. And of course, the article is referring to stuff like, let's say, oh yeah, how Ariel looked in the original Little Mermaid, how she's supposed to be pretty while the villain herself is all ugly and whatnot. And then movies like Sleeping Beauty, where the princess there looks all gorgeous and whatnot, while the villain herself looks a certain way. And yeah, okay, Princess Aurora looks a certain way, and Ariel looks a certain way. Why the villains, the bad person counterparts, looks the exact opposite. In the context of these films, that actually makes perfect sense because one side is good, one side is bad. You realize that these were not the only movies that actually did that. Case in point. Case in point, look at the first Predator and the franchise that it became. Just look at the bad guy, the villain. Look how small his eyes are. Look how his over design looks hideous. And he's the bad guy, obviously. Oh, look at Godzilla himself, the original or the sequels. Of course, he's going to look awful. Really scary looking. He's not exactly going to be boring the dinosaur, be all friendly and whatnot and shit, obviously. So, yeah, I could use games as well. For example, this Star Wars game. And, okay, let's just take a look at this for a brief nanosecond here because the bad person, oh my god, looks so hideous. So, yeah. Even in the storyline for that game, even the villains fought each other, but that still proves my point. So, yeah. So, making the bad guy characters, the villain characters in Disney films, how's that you get on their case for that, but no one else? Sorry, James seems like picking and choosing here. Like, seriously, out of all the things in the world right now, this is what's bothering you, the way they look? And yeah, that right there just screams insecurity right off the bat. I mean, then again, it's nothing new because I've heard complaints about female characters because of the way they look. And when it comes to this kind of thing, the people who complain about female characters are usually other women who will complain about the female characters because the way they will look or whatever and why not. Again, like I literally just said a moment ago, it just screams insecurity on their behalf. And well, yeah, why am I not surprised? Nobody around here is saying that you should look like this. No one's saying that. Nobody, absolutely nobody. At least I'm not. So I don't get it. This just seems ridiculous to point out. And I mean, yes, those women who will dress in a certain way, yes, but it could be a number of reasons. Like they feel confident for one, they feel comfortable. So why you want to take that away from them? I mean, really. But again, this kind of look, this this is what's bothering you. Having the characters look all pretty or whatever. I mean, be lucky you don't live in Japan in that case, because yes, they have a strict law over there that you have to have a certain body shape. In some ways, it's kind of understandable. Anything about it, you can't be too overweight or anything. So to some extent, yeah, I can see that. Maybe overbearing for some people, but okay, I get it. Yeah, having a princess character look exactly like this is not really going to be helpful to. Yeah, I know, promote body positive, but you know, realize this is really unhealthy, right? This is really unhealthy. How about trying to have sex with one of them right now, like this second? How about that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be saying no. Exactly. But yeah, it's one thing to be happy with your body shape and whatnot, and it's another of being obese and then promoting that. That's a big no-no. And just yeah, this seems to be like a common thing for a lot of people, especially among women. I mean, there's a lot of overweight men too and whatnot, but it just seems that a lot of people want to promote the idea that make them really obese, really overweight. Hey, it's their choice. They can do whatever they want. It's their body. Oh, what? That doesn't make any sense. That's really unhealthy. You tell the little kids it's okay to eat as much as you want and not watch the calories. This is wrong on so many levels. Oh boy. I guess one quick thing before I move on to anything else is that how about making like a slice of life type of a story? And one maybe one that can be like a robot or something, and have a princess character with that. And trying to do something different, nowadays instead of just remaking everything. I don't know. You could be really creative with that, I guess. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, just before they, whoever wrote this, just before they finished this article, of course, they're talking about self-esteem and whatnot, about the whole Prince Charming comes someday and rescue them, and the whole idea of love is toxic. Obviously, there's going to be a stab towards Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, how she's supposed to be waiting for her Prince Charming. You realize that that movie is actually based on a book, on book that was like that was like uh that was pretty much decades old already by this point, way before Disney ever came about. And of course, not to mention Cinderella. You gotta wait for Prince Charming, which he technically wasn't when you get down to it. And again, this was based upon an old book that was published decades and decades and decades prior Disney ever came into existence. How is that you don't bring that to the argument? Ugh, this makes no sense. And of course, I'm not going to forget about the no unnecessary doors because putting up the same type of argument. I don't see how it's toxic. I don't see how this isn't toxic. Again, how was she waiting for Prince Charming? Snow White herself was preoccupied with some other things in the movie. But and again, that movie that's supposed to be based on this book was plus decades prior the existence of the company. Even Beauty and Beast, yes, they just brought up. Take a little jab at that movie. Again, just put in the same argument. That's if it has a the article has a point somehow, which it doesn't. And again, and again. The book that the film was based upon was published decades and decades and decades prior the existence of the company. Funny how they don't bring up the Twilight Saga. Now that's definitely toxic. That right there. And a lot of young women seem to love that. You don't bring that up, like, at all. Seems a bit hypocritical, don't you think? Oh, let me guess. Let me guess. Because the book of the Twilight, the author of the Twilight books were written by a woman, and if you criticize those, you be deemed sexist. That's like how you can't give constructive criticism to the reboot of Ghostbusters because if you do, you're sexist and you're racist. Boy, this is stupid. That's like how the director of this film was saying that if you give criticism to this movie, oh, you're racist and you're sexist. Boy, the people these days, you have to be kidding me, right? This seems to get dumber and dumber as time goes. Give me a break. Now, okay. To be fair, to be completely and utterly fair here, if I had to give Disney any criticisms that they were, of course, we do like remakes like Mulan, for example, or even let's see here, let's see. Oh yeah, the Beauty and Beast remake. I know they made plenty more princess remakes, but I'm just using these as two example. I would have to complain towards Disney in this case because they caved in. They're already remaking these movies because they want under the assumption of being sexist when they're really not. Or how Dumbo was basically remade because a lot of people viewed the original film to be racist towards African Americans, which it never was. So again, if I have to criticize the company, it will be that they caved in to the false criticism, the made up problems. Yes, there's a difference between bashing a company and criticizing it. Yes, I like Disney. Okay, I really do enjoy Disney. That's perfectly the why I'm making this video. But they are not immune to criticism. Is what I'm getting at. If somebody makes mistakes, yes, you should criticize them. That is true. But make sure you do it in a constructive manner that makes, sense. Like this article isn't doing whatsoever. All right, we hit on the final part of course. When it comes to, again, how women are treated nowadays, of course, it's going to be different back then. Obviously. No kidding. But of course, this article couldn't help itself to take a jab again towards the original Cinderella by saying it's infamous. What do you mean infamous? As in bad? Are you sure about that? I know Disney had released many multiple special editions, and one of which made a truckload of money because it's often considered to be one of the greatest animated films of all time. Mind you, this is not including the size of the used market. If you want to see an infamous movie, well, check this one out, okay? That was definitely a god awful movie. Easily one of the worst. I think our definition of infamy is different here. But anyway, the article brings up the Wreck-It Ralph, the sequel, which was alright, I guess. But I guess I liked it enough to watch again. Whatever. But point being is that it brought this scene where the other princesses were all casual. Apparently, this is a positive message somehow. What? What are you talking about? But and like I have to say that maybe they should be working at the princess characters should be working at a recycling center or maybe work at a retail place like Target, which makes no sense when you think about it because they're royal. But also, let me see what else. Oh yes, maybe places like or even Home Depot. It's not gonna like it was not gonna, like another retail place, which again makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, like at all. Won't they have people for that instead? Because when they have been a part of the princess is a part of the high authority. All these princesses are part of the high authority. They're part of the government. And if I have to criticize this scene right here, folks, from Wreck-It Ralph, part two, is that they're just used as a plot device, and that's literally it. There's nothing more than plot device. That's it. Oh, but if you rewrote the script and took them out, it wouldn't make that much difference at all whatsoever. Come on. But anyway, and of course the remake for Cinderella was brought up because it's been more modern, being more better, I guess. Oh boy. Again, just because it's newer doesn't mean it's better. Like case in point, like Mars Needs Moms. This is somewhat new, and it was universally panned as a bad movie. But then you think about it, look at the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. That's definitely one of the oldest Disney films out there because that was released in 1937. So which of the two people won't be watching more? Snow White one because that's actually pretty good. So just because it's more new does not mean it's more better. Is what I'm getting at. Oh boy, just this type of argument just makes no sense at all, folks. And that'll be it. Just make a video about princess character, or I guess in this case, princess movies in general. So just me trying to defend the old princess movies again and again and again. It just seems like it's just the same thing over and over again. Just maybe wrapped up a bit different, maybe. It just seems repetitive. It's getting really repetitive at this point. Oh, okay, hold on, it already has gone repetitive. All right, folks. Yeah, that'll be it. All right, whatever. All right. As always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh, yeah, later. Whatever.